Anthony on Air Podcast back for another episode brought to you by our good pals over at Hero Soap Company. Link in the description below. We are talking about the day's stories. Coming to America sequel. Louis Anderson. A little bit of controversy. We'll get into it.
Controversy?
Can you believe it? Cuomo is sorry. Is COVID over? Dr. Seuss over. Pence. And my dog died. We'll get into all of it here coming up on this episode of the Anthony on Air Podcast. Of course, he is the looks of the outfit. Frankie C has joined us. And
how we doing?
I believe J Sabs might be coming along towards the end. We'll have to wait and see.
We will see.
Coming to America. I love the way they titled this, Frank, with the 2 instead of T-O. Coming to America. This is a long-anticipated sequel to the Eddie Murphy Arsenio Hall classic.
Yeah. Didn't we talk about this already?
We talked about it. I forgot what we said about it. What were we talking about?
We talked about the trailer and how it looks good and the return of a lot of favorite characters and stuff.
I don't know if I've been this excited about a movie. I mean, I can't even remember when.
I'm excited about this movie and Mortal Kombat coming out.
You have awful taste in films. Like, it's just the worst.
Okay. Give me a break. Let's not compare.
I'm excited for this one and the Sopranos prequel movie. I can't wait for that one either.
It's from the guy who hates The Princess Bride. Have fun in the comments.
It was awful. That was one of the worst movies ever. I don't know what people are thinking.
You're dumb.
That movie stinks.
You're stupid. You're a stupid.
What's better,
person.
Princess Bride or Coming to America? The first one.
It depends. I mean, Coming to America is funnier. But Princess Bride it's like a cult classic. Classic.
I will give it a cult classic, but I mean,
great stuff.
Coming to America. Stuff. I mean, Jesus.
It's laugh out loud funny, but
so funny, so funny.
So many classic scenes and just great story. I like.
Eddie Murphy has had one of the greatest careers as far in film of all time. He's top 5, got to be, but.
I don't know about top 5.
Even the newer stuff is good, but that run of Coming to America, Trading Places,
Beverly Hills Cop.
There's another one that I'm missing now that was just in my head.
48 Hours.
48 Hours, yeah, but that wasn't what I was thinking. Trading Places, yeah, it'll come to me.
Nutty Professor.
That was later on, though. I'm talking about there was that little time frame with Trading Places and Coming to America. It was all like, in that little span of what, early 80s? Early 80s, I would say, where it was just like, my God, like Trading Places and Coming to America. If that was your career, that would be a monster career. And then he's just added on to it,
Still going, baby.
He's incredible.
Yep.
Anyway, Coming to America 2. So they're doing all sorts of press for it now because it's coming out on Friday.
Right.
So this Friday it's going to be on Amazon, which I'm super excited about. And all right, let's see here. Trading Places was 48 Hours was 82. Trading Places 83. Beverly Hills Cop was 84. He did Beverly Hills Cop 2 in 87. Coming to America was 88. Harlem Nights, which I thought was good and a lot of people didn't like, was 89.
I don't think we're missing any huge ones from the 80s.
No, that was it. I don't know why I was thinking there was something else. I even love, and this doesn't get a lot of play, I'm kind of in the mood to watch it again, The Distinguished Gentleman.
I never saw that one.
Oh, really? 92.
Yeah.
Oh, great movie. Especially would play so well now. He's a con artist, and he's running a con at this guy who's a senator or house rep, whatever it is, and he realizes that the biggest con of all time is being a politician. So he cons himself into running for office, and he wins. And then he goes to Washington, and it's like, how does a con man... Well, this is very early on in the thing. It's how does a con man... How does a con man deal with Washington? And he realizes he's in way over his head.
I'm in. That sounds good.
The idea of a real thief can't hang in Washington D.C. with politicians.
You put Eddie Murphy in that, I'm good. That's a good one.
Oh, it's
What
so
was the
good.
one? It was like not Miracle Child, Golden Child. That was one from, I think, from the 80s. The Golden Child.
The Golden Child? I don't see that one.
Yeah, that was an 80s movie, I believe. Either that or early 90s.
Because then he had like the Nutty Professor was massive, and he was in Shrek, Showtime with De Niro, Daddy Daycare, massive.
I liked the movie I Spy. That wasn't bad. It was under the radar.
Mm.
I thought that was good with Owen Wilson and Famke Johansson, or
Yeah.
however you say her name.
You think he's worth $1 billion, Eddie Murphy?
No.
No?
I'd say he's in the
Half a bill?
9 figures, though.
Half a bill?
Maybe.
He has to be making $20 million a movie for a while.
I'd say quarter mil.
Quarter mil?
Quarter mil.
Yeah, I guess it depends on his spending habits and how many houses.
I mean, it's been a long time between movies. Before coming to America too, what was the last big movie? Tower Heist?
Let's see.
Well, it was like 10 years ago.
Well, he did Dolomite Is My Name. That was big for Netflix.
Yeah. Was it as huge as they...
No.
Yeah.
No. There's a lot of video stuff in here. Shreks and Tower Heist, I guess, would be his last one, 2011.
Yeah, there you go. 10 years ago.
Yeah, that was like the last one that got any sort of... I actually know the guy who started writing Tower Heist.
What?
Yeah. Bill Collage. He's my good buddy. I've had him on the show. There's probably a video on this channel if you go way, way, way back. You want to hear something really interesting? I should play this clip. The original premise behind Tower Heist, it was actually called Trump Heist.
Yes.
In the original script for Tower Heist, this is no joke.
Then he would have been in it.
He started writing it because it's a bunch of like blue collar workers and they rob from somebody.
Yeah, from a guy who like ruins their careers or something.
In the original script, it was like they had I don't know if it started with Trump, but they had Trump in the script at some point where it was like the people, and this was pre Eddie Murphy. I think it was I forget who he said was in the first, like who they were writing it all for. It got all switched around and everything, but
I enjoyed that movie. It wasn't bad.
Tower Heist, was it good?
Yeah, it was decent. It was entertaining enough. If it were on TV, I'd watch it. You know, it's not bad.
Yeah,
it's a good Saturday afternoon movie.
I never saw it. It's a good Saturday afternoon. There are those movies where you're like just exhausted. You just want to throw something on the TV, and you're like, this is it.
To fall asleep to.
I call those the Pix 11 movies. I don't know if people will get that, but in New York,
TV 55.
We have Pix 11, TV 55. There's just some they always like showed like some decent good movie.
It's the type of movie that when you came back from commercials, they let you know you're back from commercials. And now back to our feature presentation.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there was like an announcer who would do the whole...
It's like, oh, we're back, guys. We're back. All right.
Yeah, and there would be like previews, like they would show you like before, like coming out of the commercial break and then going into the commercial break.
Yep. I know we teased this a while ago, but what the hell is the controversy? There's controversy with Coming to America too.
I know, we got off course. I really want to find this stupid clip now, but I'm not.
You're killing me.
I'm not going to find it.
All right, Louis Anderson.
Go to my Twitter. I'll tweet it out when I find it. Louis Anderson. They actually the studio forced Louis Anderson into the film because they didn't have any white people in the original Coming to America. There was no white people in the movie. So the studio made them put Louis Anderson in the movie. And it's kind of funny because like you're thinking like, where's there only way? But when you watch the movie, Louis Anderson sticks out like a sore thumb because you're like, hey, that's Louis Anderson.
Because he's Louis Anderson.
He's younger. He's Louis Anderson, but he's like the only white guy in the movie, you know?
Okay.
Which is so funny because one article I saw, it was like Arsenio Hall reveals the sad story behind Louis Anderson, and I was like, what's so
Ugh.
sad about that? I don't.
That's called clickbait.
Yeah, exactly. Like trying to make more out of it than it actually is.
So what
Um,
happened with this one?
but I like it's so interesting. Like, why would that matter?
Wait, is
Like,
that the controversy? The original?
well, there's a couple of things. There's
Okay.
another little facet that I'm really fascinated by. Probably nobody else is, but I am. But I
Fascinating
also I
facet.
like the thinking behind the studio executive that was like you have to have a white person in the movie. Like, what was that gonna
You
do?
don't.
Like, were people gonna go? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Oh, there's a white guy. All right, let's go. Martha, grab your bag. We're going to see this
You
movie.
really didn't need a white guy in the movie. The movie was just fine. I mean, Louis Anderson's Louis Anderson, and he's always great. But if he was not in the movie would still be legendary.
It would, of course. But here's what's funny about it, though. Louis kind of perfect for that part because he plays this like schmucky kind of character, and Louis kind of nailed that. In the he nails that schmucky like I hope to be on fries one day.
Well, he's good. He's good. You get Louis Anderson in a role, he's gonna hit a home run every time.
Yeah. He's a super sweetheart of a guy. I can't remember if I had him on the old show, but I had him. He played the theater over here that I'm pretty close with, and everybody was just like raving about like what a sweetheart of a guy he is.
He seems like such a nice person.
Yeah. So Arsenio and Eddie Murphy were on Kimmel, and as the story goes, they the studio which was Paramount at the time. They came to him. They came to Arsenio Hall and they said we have to have a white person. There has to be a white person in the movie. And they gave them a list of 3 white people to choose from. And they chose Louis Anderson.
Who were the other two?
They don't say. I'm dying to know.
Ah,
I'm dying to know. Arsenio Hall. So subsequently now, because now they're all doing press. So Arsenio was
Michael
on
Chiklis.
a bunch of other people. Michael Chiklis. Arsenio was on a
And I
bunch
would
of other
guess
people, and everybody's asked them, like, can you say? And they are refusing to say, which makes me want to know even
Sipowicz
more now.
from NYPD Blue.
Yeah.
I don't know his name.
Yeah. So Murphy said it was who's the funniest white guy around, and Louis, we knew him, we was cool with him, so that's how we got Louis in the movie. So that's how the story goes. But Hall says
Well,
Paramount presented them with a list of 3 white performers and said, "Who would you rather work with?" And they refused to say who the other 2 people were.
I guess they didn't want to be like, yeah, I don't want to work with these two.
Yeah, could you imagine if you were up for coming and you find out all these years later,
You were never asked,
and you would
but
never
you were on the list.
see? But I feel like you know what the move would have been. The move would have been to put them in this new one. I would have put the 2 because, not to spoil, but Louis Anderson is in the new one. We know that already.
Yeah, I figured.
It's already out there. But I would have put the other 2 guys in the movie because to me that would have been hilarious.
A little inside joke.
If Louis and the other 2 guys were the only 3 white people in the movie, that would have been so hysterical.
That would have been good. I
Right?
can't imagine who the hell it would have been back then.
You know who I was thinking? Sam Kinison.
Sam Kinison, definitely. And I feel like he did those 80s kinds of movies, and he would have been, yeah, that probably.
Right?
If you had to put money on it, that's a good bet.
Kinison would be a good one, right?
He's the same type of actor that he's a comedian, stand-up guy, and he just does these weird roles.
We're gonna
Totally.
move on to Cuomo, but I have to tell this story because I love it so much. Eddie Murphy's on Fallon, and again, plug in Coming to America too. So he's asking him about past heroes who he's interacted with, and he's asking him about Pryor and Muhammad Ali, and he's going through all these like massive, huge people. But you know this, I'm such a, and I don't even know if we've talked about this on the podcast, but I am such a hardcore, obsessed fan of Rodney Dangerfield. I have this huge Rodney Dangerfield painting.
Love Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah, it's the DVD collections, the books. You know me, I can't even read. I read Rodney's book. I'm a massive Rodney Dangerfield fan.
That guy was the man.
Fallon brings up Dangerfield to him, And he goes, yeah, Dangerfield. He goes, he says, I was 17. Murphy's 17 years old. And he goes down to Miami to do stand up. And he goes, he's in his club. And, it's a bunch of comedians, like 10 comedians. It's one of those shows. It's not come see Eddie Murphy because he's not Eddie Murphy yet. He's 17. It's like there's 10 comics on. It's this club, whatever. So Rodney Dangerfield shows up at the last minute and bumps everybody, which happens often in like Comedy Cellar, the Comedy Store in Los Angeles. You get a big star, comes in, wants to work out material. He bumps the rest of the lineup. So they bump everybody. So Murphy's 17. He's like full of piss and vinegar. And he's like, tells the club owner, he's like, I want to go on right after Rodney. After Rodney just like destroys the room. So he goes right on, and on his way up, he stops Rodney. And he goes, Rodney, I love you so much. I'm going. Could you please stay and watch me? Tell me what you think. So he goes, okay. So he goes on. Yeah. he does his 10 minutes, and he goes, he actually does really well. And he comes off stage, and he's so excited. And he's like, I followed Rodney Dangerfield. Could you imagine following as a 17-year-old and you're in the business for a couple months? So he goes over to Rodney and he goes, what do you think? And he goes, oh, he's like, I don't care for the cursing and you use the N-word and blah, blah, blah.
I knew you were going to say that, the cursing.
He goes, so Murphy goes, he just takes the wind out of my sails. He goes, it was so devastating. He's like, I was heartbroken. So 3 years later, he's on Saturday Night Live for a couple of years. He's starting to make movies and this and that. Things are starting to go for him. And I forget where he was at, an award show or something. And he goes into the bathroom to take a leak. And he's at the urinal and he's peeing. And Rodney Dangerfield walks into the bathroom. And he walks into the urinal next to him. And so Murphy looks up and he notices it's Dangerfield, and Dangerfield looks over him and he goes, who knew, huh?
That's fantastic. Oh, that's good. That's great.
I love that story because it was like for 3 years.
Yeah.
It hung out there, and then he just walks right in and goes, he remembered immediately, goes, hey, who knew?
That's really good. Gotta love Rodney Dangerfield.
Oh my goodness.
All his stuff, even the movies, everything.
Everything is so good. Everything. He's just the best. Even when he
One
bombed.
of the best Simpsons episode is with him.
He was on The Simpsons, really? I gotta go back and look at that.
Mr. Burns' son. It's like season 7 or 8 or something.
Oh, all right. I'm gonna go check that out. Boy, Governor Cuomo is in some hot water. He's still on his way to being flat out canceled. I will say for the first time today, I feel like he might get out of this. His defense has been impressive so far.
It's their word against his for the most part. There's some video and some audio, but nothing concrete, really. Not to mention the fact that, all right, I'm not going to... can I do a comparison?
You don't have to. I mean, you could.
It's understood, I think.
Good, you do.
I'll just give you the numbers, and you could guess who I'm talking about. 36 accusations. 36 women accusing this one former politician of sexual assault, and he didn't resign.
Well, it's an interesting thing that you brought up there because he's changed the game. Trump has changed the game.
He shouldn't have.
He shouldn't have, but he should have been canceled by cancellation standards these days. He should have been canceled 400 times. He shouldn't have even made it to the election in 2016, but he just kept running through those typical barriers, and it worked out for him.
And it's just, you know what? He moves up. Because what happened with him, I think, my theory is, another thing came out a day or two later that was equally atrocious or less or more so, whatever. And we all forget about the thing that happened 2 days ago. So it was just one bad thing after another, and it just kept rolling and rolling and rolling. That's
kind of what Cuomo was doing at this point because he's like all of a sudden everything is opening up. Everything is fine. COVID, I don't know. So he turned around and he said that dining can start to, they're relaxing the dining thing. We knew that for a little while.
Okay, so the numbers are down. That's good.
If you're coming here from another place, you used to have to quarantine for like 14 days, then it was 10 days. Now you don't have to do that anymore if you've had a vaccine. By the way, I want to preface this bit of the conversation with, please go look up all this information from the CDC. We're responsible,
take our word for it.
broadcasters, journalists, whatever. We're not journalists. Let's be honest with each other. We're entertainers. But still, I'm very responsible about this, but I could be missing little tidbits on this one. So just as a
do the work and look it up for yourself.
But he announced this, which was huge. He's opening up concert venues in New York.
As of when?
April 2nd. He's allowing audiences of up to 100 people indoors, 200 people outdoors. That doubles or goes to 150 indoors if the venue will do testing. We'll have some sort of a testing system in there. So it's
what about the size of the venue? If it's a small venue as opposed to a Nassau Coliseum, Madison Square Garden venue, I mean, it's 100 people.
Well, no, because I should preface, this is like theaters and stuff, Broadway, that kind of thing. Arenas, he already said, what was it, 10% or whatever. There's already a figure for arenas.
Okay.
So that's
cool.
That's different from indoor like concert venues.
Hey, there's a huge number of people that has gotten the vaccination, which is fantastic.
Well, also what happened is the New York State Legislature voted to take away his power, his COVID. They gave him he has executive power. He can do things that he wouldn't normally be able to do because this was a pandemic, an emergency situation. And last night they voted to take that away from him. And with everything that's going on, suddenly he's like, all this stuff is like, hey, by the way, concerts, we can do that again, everybody. And everybody's like, oh, yay. Like, we're totally,
I don't know.
We're falling for the whole, this is like when Clinton had the Monica Lewinsky thing and then just started bombing a random country. And we were all like, oh, yeah, that thing now.
Again, I want to hear from doctors. Bring out some doctors. Let them tell me. It's like, when Trump was saying this and that about COVID in the beginning, and Fauci was in the background and not really allowed to say what he wanted to say. And then he came forward and he said, the truth. So that's what we need. We need the doctors to come out and tell us this is okay, this is not okay. I'm sure they're being advised by doctors, but come on, help us out here.
I mean, it's awfully convenient how all of a sudden all of this stuff is just randomly going away. Like and I also think I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theory person as we bring in the great Jay.
I love how you say that
every
time.
Conspiracy theorist, Janine's.
Yeah. I love how you say, I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist, and then you launch into a conspiracy theory.
But here's a gigantic theory.
What is the conspiracy we're talking about now?
That since Cuomo has gotten in trouble with all these women, all of a sudden things are starting to open up in New York State. Now all of a sudden we can do all these things.
Makes it a little suspicious, right? Okay.
A little on the suspicious side. But I also,
weird.
What I was going to say was, as weird as it is, I think it's also compounded with this Johnson & Johnson vaccine that you don't need 2 shots. You only need 1. It doesn't need to be refrigerated and shipped with care. It can just go. It's like
it doesn't need to be shipped with care. Yeah. You can kick the box and roll it down the hill. It'll be fine.
Well, they're trusting UPS to ship it, so clearly it could go.
Clearly, they don't care.
It could take a couple hits.
Ace Ventura that thing down the hallway. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah, totally. So, but I think but I think it's the women accusing him, but also the fact that the state legislator took away his executive authority in this particular instance.
So if they took away his authority, how is everything opening up?
Because he can't restrict anything anymore. All that basic that I'm stepping into.
He can't restrict, but he can open?
Correct.
Yeah. He can't say this can't be done.
Because open.
But things can open up. Yeah.
Open is going back to normal. Him closing him telling these places they can't operate is against the Constitution, but it can be done with
an emergency stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's basically.
I don't know, man.
Which leads to our next point, which is COVID completely over? Because down in Texas, it's over. There is no COVID down there anymore.
Texas is being run by a bunch of idiots.
Oh, God.
In Texas,
tell me I'm wrong.
They are allowing businesses to open 100%, and the governor released the mask mandate. No more mask mandate.
He's a giant idiot.
You think
so? If you want to spread COVID everywhere again and let the numbers go up, then let everybody do whatever they want. That's great.
I mean, what better place for them to be the guinea pig? I honestly don't see.
What do you say, Janine? Those yokel rednecks deserve it?
No.
That was hurtful.
Yeah, right.
You're going to say you don't see anything wrong with this?
I mean, I was just having this argument with my father.
Okay.
We're going to have to do it.
Val, son of Adolf?
Yeah.
He's like, I'll show you what they could do. We're going to have to do it eventually.
Right.
Can we thank them for doing this and being the guinea pig? I'm being serious because everybody wants to open up. Yeah. Look at his face. Frank looks like
the decision shouldn't be made. The decision shouldn't be made because we're tired of it. The decision should be made when it's safe.
Well, yeah, but how long is it not going to be safe?
Until it's safe. We're getting the vaccine rolled out.
I have to stop you there. I have a problem. I have a problem with what you just said, Frank. Plenty of decisions have been made because we're tired of things. I would have not gotten married if I wasn't tired of being single.
That's fine. But some would argue you did not, get incredibly sick over that. Some would argue.
I would argue against that. I used to be thinner. I used to have less gray hairs. For a little while back in 2013.
That's true.
I was thinner.
That's true.
I mean,
remember that 1 month in that 1 year?
Yeah, you were a 4 dick that 1 year. When you got thinner, you lost a lot of weight and you became like this arrogant jerk.
No.
You were my crap doesn't stink.
That's not true.
Yep. Trust me, I know you. And for that year, you were a little overconfident.
That is 100% not true.
What year was this?
20 teens, early 20 teens. I don't remember the year.
None of that is true.
But I'm telling you, it was before.
I think we're having trouble with Frank's microphone. Something's gone wrong.
Move closer to the microphone.
Am I being cut off?
This thing on.
No, I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened there, Frank. But anyway, go ahead, Janine. You were saying.
Here's the thing. People are still going to wear masks in the stores. Just because you don't have to wear it, people are still going to wear it.
Well, this is my question. Can I interrupt you? This is my question.
Let's go.
The governor says you don't have to wear a mask in Texas anymore. Okay. But like Home Depot and Target and Best Buy and all these huge chains, like, isn't that their rule across the board? Now, do they acquiesce to the local rules, or are these big corporations that are worried about being sued or whatever? Because the governor can get sued. Governor's not going to lose anything. It's the state that's going to have to fork over if something should happen. But if somebody goes, I caught COVID in Best Buy, it was contact traced, and I know an employee was in there without a mask, and I caught COVID, and now I'm suing Best Buy. I feel like Best Buy is going to still say, you know what, you have to wear a mask to go in our stores. And if that's the case, what are we really, like, we're in this like weird mishmash area of like, what do we do?
Which is why we need leaders to help us and give us the rules. And because if we're not following rules, it's chaos, and we're going to just cough all over each other, and it's going to spread like that again. And we're going to be stuck where we were last year.
But
I don't think people, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I don't think people are going to go back, meaning like they're not going to stand so close to one another. They're not going to cough all over. I mean, I hope they didn't do that beforehand, but people, whatever.
Well, I just think how this thing spread.
Yeah. Well, That's what the government wants you to believe.
Okay.
Somebody was telling me.
I don't know who the leaders are of Texas. I have no idea who's in charge in Texas or not. But the point is, I mean, they're the first ones to say we're going to be completely
So
whatever.
if they said that in New York, you'd be okay with that?
I would. I'm going to get eaten up and alive in the comments, but I would.
If they said no more masks.
I would love that. I would. I only started wearing a mask when it was mandated in the stores.
You know,
that's it.
Like, people are dying from this, right?
Right, but people die of things every single day.
Okay. All right. I'm done. I'm out.
Oh,
next topic, please. Before I explode. Next topic.
Let me say this.
Frank, here's the thing.
Go ahead.
Here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
You're a healthy guy.
Okay.
Are you so terribly scared of the virus? Like, if you got the virus, would you die? Would you think you would? I'm asking
about you. If I gave it to
you.
my mom, if I gave it to someone who I know, a neighbor, or someone sick, an old person, then it's coming from me. It's like I was responsible for it now. That's one thing.
I mean,
Plus,
I
know
that.
healthy people who have gotten it and have gotten really sick, and it's terrible. And people are clogging up the hospitals, and the hospitals can't function.
Well, since when? April?
Since when? That was a huge problem when the numbers were up.
In April,
the hospitals, there was so many lines, nobody can get in and get the treatment they need.
Yeah, but you're both saying the same thing. That was back in the beginning when everything was shut down.
When they didn't know enough about the virus, now they know more.
That's
they
what
don't
I'm saying.
As
they know
much,
more.
But
they know more, which is why the masks are being reinforced by the president and by people who know what they're talking about.
Oh, you had to slip that in there.
It's true, though. I'm not saying anything that's not true. He put a nationwide mask mandate when he first went in of government buildings and stuff like that. But we know more about it now. We know how it spreads. We're getting vaccines. We're rolling it out. More and more vaccines are coming out. More and more people are being vaccinated, and that's a good thing. But it's going to be terrible if all of a sudden the numbers shoot up out of nowhere and we start clogging the hospitals again and we can't take care of people.
Well, you know what's interesting, and to bring up your point about Biden and the mask mandate, that's also true for public transportation. So if you're on a bus in Texas, do you have to wear a mask still? I mean, what takes usually state laws take precedent over federal laws, but these aren't even laws; these are mandates.
I mean,
and if you get on a plane in Texas, you got to wear it, right? It's still the rule on the airlines.
Does the lack of mandate get overridden by the implement?
Right, because he's not saying you don't have to wear masks. He's just saying, when I told you have to wear masks, and now I'm taking that back. It's not like
So that's a lack of a mandate. But then Biden puts in.
I don't know.
An implementation.
I don't know if his actually got, but I don't know if his overruled everything.
Biden?
Only in government.
Yeah, I don't know if it actually did.
It's only on federal land.
Yeah, that's not really like.
That's not a lot of places.
And how many people actually go into that every single day? Like the normal population.
Correct.
You know?
Correct. But the big
it's not
thing,
like he's saying anytime you go outside, you have to wear a mask.
But the big part of it was public transportation. So buses, subways, trains, airplanes. You have to wear it there. All right, now
that should override the lack of mandate from Texas.
Let me say this: when people said what Janine just said, oh, people are going to die from something. Back last year in April, I thought those people were assholes. Now to say it now, when the numbers are so low, I don't feel like that's an asshole thing to say.
Numbers are so low. 500,000 people have died in a year.
He's
500,000 people.
He's watching CNN.
That's a wrong number?
No. It's a right number. But my point is that even here in New York, the numbers are at 3% or whatever they're at.
Very low. Extremely low.
And we're vaccinating.
So there are 3 million people on Long Island. 3% of 3 million is what? 30,000. 30,000 people on Long Island have it. Known.
Right.
Oh, I don't even know. I don't know like how many more people have it a day. It's not in the like tens of thousands. Though.
Here's my point.
But even so,
and
it's
that's
only
only
3%.
the people who know.
Here's my point. can this thing get out of control and flare up again? I think we have to be really cautious and make sure that it does not.
Exactly.
That
That's all I'm saying.
being said, people wearing masks, people being aware of being socially distant, vaccinations, and again, like I said, this Johnson & Johnson one is being able to move so much quicker now because it's only one dose and it doesn't have to be refrigerated. I feel like the time is here. We're getting really close.
We're getting there. Yes.
I thought that we would be like this for the rest of this year. There was some point where I was like, we are going to wear these. When they were talking about concerts not really fully coming back until 2022, I was like, we're going to be stuck like this for this entire year. It's going to be another
We're
shit
so
year.
close. We're so close. And now people are going to pull this crap and it's going to throw us back into the bullshit again.
Well, but here's why I think it won't. Because of the masks, because of the vaccinations, and also because we're getting back into nice weather. And if you remember, the numbers were never as low as they were back in August and the end of July and
look, Frank doesn't believe it, but it's true, Frank.
No, first of all,
the numbers in August were like 1%.
What is August? We're nowhere near August. This is March.
He's trying to say a little warmer weather.
5 months until August.
Yeah, but Frank, but think about
March
this.
And April and May.
Think about this. Like, even in my own personal life, I have not seen my family for an entire year. My extended family, aunts, uncles, elderly people who we want to protect during all this.
We're all in the same boat.
My aunt, who didn't even want to, there was a time where we could have seen each other from a distance outdoors. I was like, do you want to do this? We'll come. We'll see you from a distance. She was like, no, I don't want to do it. I don't want to chance anything, blah, blah, blah. Super sensitive to the whole thing. My uncle's got a thing, the whole 9 yards. They're both vaccinated. So all of a sudden she calls me up and she goes, we're good. We're vaccinated. Do you want to come over? So, yeah, sure. We're all healthy. We're fine. So
things are definitely better than they were.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's no more fear there. There's no more, I'm going to, like you said, you don't want to get your mom sick. You don't want to get this one sick. You don't want to get that one sick. We're coming to the point now where now, do I think Texas was early? Okay.
Yeah.
I would say maybe a couple weeks early. I don't think it would have killed them.
Is vaccinated.
I don't think it would have killed them, to Frank's point, to wait another month or two. I don't think it would have killed them to wait another month.
He would wait till 2022.
I would wait until we're ready. We're not ready yet.
We're ready.
When is ready, though? When's ready?
Tired of it. We're ready because you're tired of it. That's the only reason we're ready.
No, we're ready because there's people who are vaccinated. They know more about the virus.
Not everybody yet.
Right.
See, my feelings changed about this. My feelings changed about this the second we had the vaccines, because we were staying home, we were keeping distant, we weren't grouping and gathering to protect the most vulnerable portions of our population. There were people out there that were like, herd immunity, screw those people. It's like, no, asshole. These are people's parents and uncles and aunts and sisters and brothers. Like, you can't just be, see, Janine.
I just wanted to say that to see Frank's reaction. Frank has a middle finger underneath his desk right at me right now.
No, but I think...
Fuck you, Blondie.
Frank, you and I have been basically...
That's not even real, Frank.
We've been together on our feelings on this. We've been saying wear a mask, who cares, what's the big deal, for a long time. But I feel like today, for the first time, I feel like we are going to have as close to a normal summer, much more normal than I thought it was going to be.
I think we very much could. But it's only March, 3rd or what the hell say? 3rd?
Today's the 3rd.
Yeah, we're a little cart before horse here. We got to get the vaccines out more. We got to lower the numbers a little more. And when the doctors tell us and the scientists tell us, take your masks off, then we'll take our masks off. But
scientists, doctors, or people accusing you of sexual harassment, whoever, it doesn't really matter who's behind how we get here. We're getting here.
Okay, so when anybody says it, I'm going to say it now. Hey, everybody take your mask off. That means everybody should take their mask off. Listen to me. I've done zero research, so take your masks off.
See,
I mean, it's not like they haven't done research, but...
Would it have killed this guy?
I'm saying the doctors did know what they're talking about. And the people who are yelling at the public, keep your masks on, are the people working in hospitals. Yeah. I know nurses and doctors who work in hospitals who are telling people, for the love of God, keep your masks on, because we don't want to fill up the hospitals again.
I agree we should wear masks. But what I was going to say was, would it kill this guy to say, Everything could open 100%. Let's keep the mask train rolling. Couple more weeks. Let's see how it goes. We get to under
You
whatever.
mean like slowly open, but keep mask on and then take them off?
No, open. If you want to have people open their businesses, open your bit. Here's the thing too, and I think people are forgetting this, especially in Texas. You have outdoor dining. You could do most of this stuff outdoors.
That's
You
true.
can spread out there. There can be life. This isn't New York City. Like New York City is not ready for this yet. But a warm climate down south. You look at the
Yeah, but
Florida
you look at a
numbers.
place like Dallas, or they're crammed in just like New York City. Maybe not exactly, but they're close quarters, and there's neighborhoods like that.
Yeah.
It's not like Wild West out there. They're
Of course.
close knit cities.
But a majority of that state is just wide open land, and people
Sure.
can, they can handle it. They can handle it in Texas.
I'm saying
Well,
it's a
go
little
big in
premature here.
Texas.
What'd you say, Janine?
Go big in Texas.
They're going big.
Yeah,
They're going.
Maybe we should
They're
build
like,
a
we're-
wall around Texas.
Did you see
We're
that
Texas.
that shit kicker's face too when he was like, "I'm repealing the mask mandate"? He was so excited to be the first one out there, being like, "Good news, everybody! Take those
It's like, is
masks
this
off."
gonna be a good thing or we'll see? Fuck it.
I understand Frank's concerns. I share the concerns. I think, like I said, New York City not ready for it yet, but I think we're getting close. I think we're going to be there. I also think that people are just uncomfortable with this thing coming to an end. We've been so fearful
I
of this
want it
thing
to come
for
to an end.
I
think
know.
we're so close though, and to fuck it up now is a stupid mistake. That's all I'm saying.
I agree with that.
We're so close. We're at the goal, and this guy's gonna be like, "All right, everybody, take your helmets off, and we'll just run after each other." It's like
Nobody's gonna go
we're
around
right at the
licking
goal.
each other.
I'm not saying they're gonna lick each other, but they're gonna be, using the same carts with no masks and handling everything. It's gonna be a
Same carts and
mixture.
no mask.
Like at the grocery stores, they're gonna be online next to each other, and one person
Well,
coughs. It's gonna spread.
People are still gonna use hand sanitizer, and like I said,
Yeah.
the people who feel most vulnerable, they're gonna be wearing masks. So
But I'm saying it's going to spread a little more easily. I mean, vulnerable or not, you could still get
we'll
it
see.
and then pass it on to someone.
We'll see.
I guess so.
We'll see. And I'll side with Janine here
mistake.
that is if we're going to experiment somewhere, I'm happy we're not experimenting where I live.
Exactly. I don't want this anywhere near me. If they said New York's 100% open and take your masks off,
Yeah.
I'd be like, great. Let me hear that from the scientists and the doctors who are doing this research, please. I don't want to hear it from some guy who's just fed up with it and like, you know what? I'm
But
sick
you
of
would
this
still
stuff.
wear a mask, right?
Say again?
If New York said no more masks, you would still wear your mask, right?
If a doctor and the scientists who are in charge of this stuff said, we're done with COVID, masks off, back to normal. then we're back
Here's
to
the
normal.
thing, though. Everyone's going to have different opinions, even scientists and doctors.
It's going to be
So
messy.
if one
Facts are
scientist says okay and another scientist says no, I guess you just go with who you feel comfortable with.
Yeah, but are we talking
No.
about, because a lot of people felt comfortable with that voodoo doctor that was out there for a little while.
Yeah.
That's
Remember
true.
her?
Right.
I need a reputable scientist who has the facts. And let's say there's 100 scientists, and 2 of them are like, I don't think we're ready yet. But 98 of them we are 100% ready. Then we're probably ready.
I mean, scientists do experiments, as do doctors.
Wouldn't it be
Yeah.
They
nice?
don't play with populations' lives.
Wouldn't it be nice, though, if we were all on one side of this issue? Wouldn't it be great?
I don't understand why taking the safe road is such a pain in the ass for everybody. It's
Well,
a
I'll
mess.
tell you why.
We're not asking you to roll around in a hamster ball.
I'll tell you why. Because people's livelihoods are being ripped apart.
Yes, I
and
understand the businesses are
This
being
is
hurt.
true.
I get that.
It's
I know,
devastating
it's
to a
tough.
lot of people.
But your business
you
is
had
going
a
to be
business,
hurt
you
if
probably
you're laid
feel
up
a
in the
little
hospital too.
I agree, but that was the case, Frank, a year ago. That was the
Right.
case a
Not
year
now.
ago.
It's still the case.
Not really, Frank.
It's kind of
Come
on the verge of not really. I
We're
understand
there. We're
if we're not
almost
100% there, but we're it's and here's the thing too. I don't think it was ever going to be this date where we all agreed, okay, great news everybody, July 4th, we're back. It's open. Country's great. It's going to be this mishmash of one state does it, another one, this one's not there yet. Everybody's complaining. California sucks. Houston's great and all this and that shit. This is the way it's going to be. And it's going to be even messier on a granular level too, because you're going to be going into a store where people are going to be like, you should be wearing a mask. And other people are going to be like, I don't have to anymore,
Right.
And it's going to be
so
crazy.
Just so you know, let's see. It's this chart goes up to March 2nd. And this is, let me see, COVID numbers. Let's see, new cases on
in
March
Texas,
2nd.
Zero new cases. I don't know if you heard
the
the
country.
Governor. Oh,
Okay.
Nice.
So yesterday, new cases were 6,381. In
in the country?
I think this is the country. I'm looking. Let me see what this chart says here.
I'm not going to put you in
Might just
charge
be
of the
New York.
coronavirus task force on this show, Frank. You can't even read the chart.
Chart doesn't say what. Yeah. I say.
All right, get your chart thoughts together. While we do that, we'll do our read for Hero Soap Company. Absolute best soap on the planet. Only thing this thing doesn't do is prevent COVID. I feel like we didn't do enough tests, and we should see, because maybe it would, but I don't want to go out on a limb and say that. It's not really supposed to. It is just supposed to keep you nice and clean and fresh and wonderful, and also support those troops that keep your life so free and so American. Hero Soap Company. You buy a bar of this, they send a bar over to the troops. Then they also take a little money out of their own end, and they help build homes for veterans returning from war so that they can live a mortgage-free life. They are fantastic, wonderful people. They're great people. They're not going to hang you out to dry like the governor of Texas is.
Oh my God. You're going to get ripped.
Also, this is made in Arizona, I believe. Yeah, Phoenix, Arizona, not Texas. So.
Oh, I love Arizona.
There you go. This was made.
Actually, I was in Arizona 7 years ago. Sorry, to the day.
7 years to the day.
Mm-hmm.
You should have taken a tour of the Hero Soap Company factory. That'd be nice.
I mean, I should have.
Yeah.
Without a mask on. Ooh.
Well, that's my other thing too. I don't like it. What the governor says is all well and good, but we all know that business runs shit around here, and I didn't even know Frank was gone. I swear to God, Frank's frozen. I thought he was still reading.
He was like, how much more facts can I throw in Janine's face about death of COVID?
I'm worried about doing my stupid Hero Soap read, and I'm just like, wow, he's really concentrating on this.
Frank
this
actually
thing.
just contacted COVID and died.
He got internet COVID.
I'm sorry, that's not nice to make a joke like that, but
he got
I get what he's saying. Don't get me wrong. But the Texas guy, he's saying, you know what? We're going to be the first state to try this. Just try it and see how it works. And then everybody else can follow. And I don't disagree with that.
Well, I would be upset if my governor was like, hey, let's try this. I'd be like, wait, hold on a second.
He didn't say try it, but I'm sure that's what it is.
Yeah. But they're also more open than a lot of other places anyway.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so bizarre the way this is happening, Janine. Like, I remember, like, my son's been back in school since September.
November. Oh, well, September, but full-time November. Yes, I know his schedule.
Yeah. And people are like, when Biden got in November and like December or whatever, they were asking, like, are you going to reopen school? And I'm like, reopen schools? What the hell are these people talking about? I didn't know there were still places where the schools weren't open.
Yep.
Because everywhere around here, even in New York City, we figured out a way to get those kids back in the schools.
The biggest problem that I've heard was the biggest problem was making sure kids could be safely in school, meaning like a lot of the classrooms were way too small.
Right.
That was the biggest problem. It's not kids contacting it from each other. It's the classrooms being big enough.
Right.
But I mean, I don't know. Frank's like he's voodoo dolling me right now.
Yeah, he is. And that's the thing too. It's like, I thought that was a mistake, letting those kids back in school, because at the time the word was that the kids were transmitting it the most.
Right.
And then we found out that wasn't necessary, or it was true, right. But then when they got them back and they got them separated and all that shit, it wasn't,
Right. No, it's true.
It was different.
The next subject is going to be really good.
Dr. Seuss.
Because I'm sure we are on opposite sides too.
Yeah. But I do sympathize with Frank because this probably could have waited 3 more weeks. You know what I mean?
And I guess.
I mean, especially that they're rolling this Johnson and Johnson out. They're saying that this thing is like, people are so excited about this one because it doesn't have to be handled the way the other ones are. It's just like,
I didn't realize that. I guess
Yeah.
I just haven't been reading my COVID news like Frank.
when they
He's
said,
like, honey, I got another fact.
when they said that the venues were going to start opening here in New York today, I was shocked. I was like, this is, and there's another state, Mississippi or Missouri, I forget, one of the M's down there in the South. I'm not going to, don't act like I'm going to care which one you are. It doesn't matter.
Like MSG?
No.
Venues like that? What are you talking about?
No, well, Madison Square Garden can have people in for Ranger games and Knicks
Yes.
games.
I did see that. That wasn't today though. That was a while ago, right?
That was a couple of
last week.
Couple of weeks ago.
But what
but-
venues are you talking about?
I'm talking about like little theaters, Broadway.
Oh, I didn't realize that was the biggest thing today.
That was the thing. 100 people indoors.
That's great.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah, and that's a huge. And again, we make
It
the
is.
joke that Cuomo is just distracting from his own little things there.
Oh
but
yeah.
But the
Give
truth
the
is,
people what they want.
the truth is that
Give them anything.
it's ending. Like for real, we're watching the beginning of the end.
Oh God, I hope so.
Which is
This isn't
unbelievable
around
because
Twitter
I didn't think that we would ever get here. And the other thing too is, hey buddy, we were joking around that as I was doing the hero soap read, I thought you were just concentrating. I thought you were looking down reading this thing the whole time.
The whole time? No, I was gone.
I had no idea.
Huh?
So
Go ahead, wrap it up with your chart.
okay. So last year, right now, as of yesterday, the numbers were in New York, 6,381 new cases in
Yeah.
New York. March 29th of last year, just when it's just started, 6,266 new cases. Same time last year. So, and then what happened? We started going up and up and up, and then all hell broke loose.
That's different though.
November 29th of last year, 6,732.
Okay.
And it's just we're at the same. We're no better off yet. We got to get people vaccinated first.
To put it in context, though, the year ago thing is unfair because although there was 6,000 at this time last year, we knew there was way more, and it was
Exactly.
It was
Because
getting
nobody
bad.
could get tests.
So that's a different thing. That's a bit of a different scenario. The November thing makes a little bit more sense, but again, this all changes because of the vax. They're going through the roof with vaccine numbers. Even Biden had said that by the end of the summer, he thinks he could have the whole country vaccinated. The other day, he turned around and said, I think we could do it by May.
Yeah, which is great. But you can't vaccinate someone who's sick from it.
Huh?
Someone has it and is sick. What the vaccination isn't going to do anything.
Yeah.
So we got to wait until we get everybody vaccinated, or at least the majority, a huge number of people.
Listen,
then we'll go back to normal.
If you're talking about the numbers being at 10, 11, 15%, I'm with you. The numbers are down to around 3%,
Yep.
2% in a lot of these places.
And once we start taking our masks off and shit, we're going to just go up again. This is the mistake we made.
But it's different this time around because I agree with you. I agree. Masks on longer will be better
than we were last year, of course, because we had the vaccine and we know more about it. We're a year ahead of it. But we're still getting sick from it. There's still people getting sick and dying from it every day, thousands.
Well, here's where I think we should leave it. And I think this is something that you need to realize. We're never going to be fully rid of this thing.
Exactly.
No,
It's never going to happen.
Exactly.
Of course not. But we can at least get everybody vaccinated first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
but some places
are not going to do it.
Some places
No,
are going
that's up to them.
Some places are going to feel like they're ready to go before other places. Like even Cuomo this morning.
Yeah.
Cuomo was talking about New York, and he pointed out Western New York or wherever bumfuck, I don't know who deals with any people in that area, and it's like they're like at 0.0, and it's like of course, because who the fuck wants to go there with their
exactly
fine if there's
shitty things?
a town of population of 12 people, yeah, Open them up.
They could do whatever they want there. Who
But when you're
cares?
talking about the state of Texas, the largest state in the 48 contiguous states,
Yeah.
you gotta be careful.
Yeah, I know.
That's all I'm saying.
This guy thinks he is.
I'm
we'll
all for
see.
opening up, but when we're ready.
We'll see. I'm skeptical of Texas too. We'll see.
Okay, yeah. Janine says we're ready, so we're ready.
Janine knows. Her grandfather was named Adolf.
You watch.
I'm watching.
Dr. Seuss, very canceled. They took 6 books, I believe, 6 books they want to take off the shelves because they're bad. Well, but Frank's got specific examples for everybody. He did the research. But what I found most interesting about this is supposedly, and I didn't know this, but I do now because I got a 5-year-old, the 100th day in school is like Dr. Seuss Day.
Right.
And like yesterday, like my kid like dressed
Well, it
up.
was his birthday yesterday or something.
Was that what it was? I don't even know. But they dressed up like Dr. Seuss, and even other people that we know, they were showing pictures and everything. And I just kind of found it hilarious that on the day that this is breaking, that Dr. Seuss was a
so
racist,
funny.
like every
All
youth in
our kids.
America, yeah, it was
All our kids
was celebrating
are, right.
Dr. Seuss Day. It was so weird. It was such a weird thing to see. Like you go on Twitter, Dr. Seuss bad. You go in your text messages, there's just nothing but Dr. Seuss pictures. So
Well,
anyway,
I was funny. I was actually going to send a picture of my daughter playing with some boy who had a Dr. Seuss shirt on, and be like, and she was playing doll. She was playing babies with him, and I wanted to caption it: should she leave him now or?
I said to my wife, she sent me the picture of the kids in school because the teacher like sent it out in the middle of the day. I go, oh look, there's our son, the racist. There he is. It's just
Nice.
It's not my opinion, my 2 cents. And this is something that I'm sure Janine will roll her eyes at. But no one's canceling Dr.
Frank.
Seuss.
You know she has that eye rolling problem. Don't
true.
act like it's.
I'm from Queens. Hello.
Yeah,
That's true.
It's in my
But no one's
genes.
canceling Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss is still Dr. Seuss.
Just
You
a
can
couple
still read
books.
The Cat in the Hat. You can still read whatever books from Dr. Seuss, except these 6 are just not going to be printed anymore.
Oh, is that right?
Because
So the Cat in the Hat's not racist.
The Cat in the Hat doesn't have anything in it
Well,
that people.
I think it's racist.
Well, then don't read it. But there are 6 specific books that show or depict people from different races in, I forget what the term was, like I forget what the word was, but roles not equal, stuff like that. Like I'll give you some examples here.
All right,
The 6 books.
Here. Do you have this one?
Yeah. And to think that I saw it on Mulberry Street.
Okay. Now,
That's the.
let me just give you my experience. Is that I literally grew up on Mulberry Street. My grandmother, that's where she lived.
Did you see it on Mulberry Street?
What I don't know what this kid saw on Mulberry Street. Was it somebody getting whacked
Read the
because
book
they
while you
didn't? Because that's what I saw when I was on Mulberry Street. Guess what? Vinny got the bat to the back of the head because he messed up with the numbers and he didn't bring the right package over what he should have been doing. Because that's
Well, you should be drawing a book.
Listen, I would love to, but I can't even say. I've already said too much, so I can't even continue to go on with that.
That's true.
But it was
If
a
that
lot of
allegedly happened.
it was a lot of Chinese store owners arguing with Italian guys with no education, like that kind of thing. Like that was mostly what Mulberry Street, and then of course Ferraris. But besides that, there was always deliveries happening. There was always a delivery. You never got on
Classic.
Mulberry Street without a delivery truck there. I don't know why.
Classic Mulberry Street.
Yet when you went to the store, they were out of everything, which is why the Chinese guy was arguing with the uneducated Italian guy. It was very bizarre. It's very bizarre. But anyway, I digress, Frank. Go ahead. You were telling us about Dr. Seuss's Mulberry Street.
Okay, so there's 6 books that are no longer going to be printed by the publisher, and this decision was actually made a year ago.
Oh, is that right?
That's right.
All right.
And I don't know why it's being announced now, but so that's the first book. If I Ran a Zoo is another one. McElligot's Pool, The Cat's Quizzer, Scrambled Eggs Super, and On Beyond Zebra. Those are the 6 books that apparently depict other races in remember the words, just lesser roles than they should be.
All right, let me say this. This sounds to me that who cares? Because it's like this is like saying the Rolling Stones can't play the fourth song on Some Girls. It's like, can they play Satisfaction? Great. Like that's all we care about.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the Cat in the Hat.
Yeah,
That's fine.
just
Most
play
of the
the
characters
hits.
in Dr. Seuss.
So you both
books
are okay
animal.
with it being not printed anymore?
Yeah, that's up to the publisher. It's not your book.
Well, I'm not going to die on the hill for Dr. Seuss. That's for one thing. But secondly,
it was their decision. They took it off the shelf.
Now, do you have a specific example of an instance where something that we could look at, or language or whatever that was bad?
It's hard to find the actual photos from the book. Let me see if I could find it. But one of the depictions in If I Ran a Zoo shows two barefoot African men wearing grass skirts, hair tied up in bows on their heads, in knots on their heads. So it depicts them as kind of wild and not, I guess, civilized.
Okay, so there's two black guys. Where in this picture is Carol Baskin? Because that's
going to a tiger. Did I get that right? I don't know if that's a good reference. I never actually watched Tiger King.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is Tiger King in it? Because that would
Cancel
be offensive
Frank.
to me.
Cancel it. Then there's, let's see. And there's stuff like this. It's a little bright. Let me lower the brightness here. Okay.
It's too white, Frank. Don't be racially insensitive over it. Okay, go ahead. Let me get a look at this here. What am I looking at?
This is...
First of all, can I just say I'm offended by how poor the art actually is to begin with? It's just terrible.
Yeah, they're wearing like sandals and just very...
Is that a Chinese guy?
This is Chinese people. Now, the original, there's a book, and to think I saw it on Mulberry Street, pictured Asian people wearing the pointed hats and eating with chopsticks from a bowl, colored in yellow. And the original,
Asian people eat with chopsticks. Everybody eats with chopsticks. That's
right. But colored in all yellow, the skin. And what's it called? In the original, before it was updated in 1978 or so, it referred to them as Chinamen. And then it changed it to Chinese men. So there's a bunch of stuff like that in these books. It's just basically, and it refers to them as like from places I can't spell, and like making it like they're weird places. It's just very, I guess, insensitive would be the word. So the publishers decided to stop printing the books.
Yeah. I don't actually have a problem with this when you get down to it on this kind of a level, because I feel like we're always making these decisions on, what's going to sell and what's not going to sell. And it feels like this is just not going to sell after a little while. Like people are going to be.
Is anybody clamoring for If I Ran a Zoo?
Well, that's what I was going to, that goes back to my Stones point. It's like, these are the lesser knowns that nobody really cares about. I think when you make it sound like the Cat in the Hat is racist, it kind of sounds crazy. I shouldn't even talk like this though, because I haven't read that story and I don't even know how long. So I don't know
if it is either, but I don't remember it being. But
yeah,
hey.
yeah. But
again, it's some stuff written in like the 30s, and a lot of it, back then people wrote, stuff about other cultures that were not really were a little bit naive. Let's say.
Well, I've said this before. I'm on the record, and I'll say it again. I remember reading Huck Finn in school, and there's plenty of racial slurs in that, and feeling super uncomfortable about the language that was in that book.
Right.
And I view that as actually a good thing, because I feel like it would teach people this was a bad time. This is not what's done anymore. You could kind of use that as a teachable moment. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about it.
True.
People may have a different opinion about it, but I felt like that was a real teachable moment in that particular case, because I feel like even the teacher in class was like, yeah, this is pretty ridiculous. So that's that. I also,
that could be teachable.
Yeah, also
if someone wants to use this moment as teachable, great. But this was a decision made by the publishers. They said,
this
you know
feels
what, we're
less.
not doing this anymore.
This feels less like a teachable moment here because, first of all, it's meant for little kids, and they're not savvy enough
Exactly.
for something like that yet. And also, it's just different. It's just different.
This feels like cancel culture once again.
It's just a blanket word now. That's it. Someone has a problem with some cancel culture. No, this is just someone doing something they think is right. That's all.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You're gonna offend someone. Like, you're gonna offend someone out there with anything. Do I personally know these books like by heart? No. And I don't really think it's because they just felt like they weren't as popular. I think because they feel like it's racist or
it's racially insensitive. It's stereotypical.
But there's so many books out there that are not children's books.
I think Janine's point is that people are going to be offended by almost anything. And I get that because
they're children's book.
Like, again, they're not making fun of Italians in this, although I haven't read that Mulberry one, because, again, it feels very inaccurate to the real Mulberry
you know
Street.
what? I'm offended by Super Mario Brothers, so guess what? Cancel it.
I'm offended by the Olive Garden, to be honest with you, but...
No, but really, what if people came out and said, I'm offended by Super Mario Brothers?
I'm sure
how
they
depict Italians.
I'm sure there are people that are, and I'm sure Mario's little clock is ticking, Janine. But the point is
it's
that...
It's going to come out. You're gonna see.
I think the point is that I have no problem with this overall because I feel like as a society we're always choosing and making these choices, whether they're public or not. We're always moving this line of appropriate and not appropriate. I agree about cancel culture, but I also feel like we do sort of make these choices irregardless. Like there comes a time where
irregardless. Have fun in the comments.
Irregardless is a real word. Literally.
Perfectly cromulent word.
Yeah, but I feel like we like old movies, old books, old whatever TV shows just stop being watched after a while for one reason or another, whether it's racial insensitivity or it's just not the times anymore. It's just boring now. You can't relate to it, whatever it is. Like, we're always just making these choices. And it feels like this is another one of those instances.
I feel like it's more like racial, like, oh my God, people are going to be offended by this. So let's take it out. Now, I don't know if these books are as good. So if they suck, okay, take them off then. But if they might offend someone, if they might offend someone, it's just enough is enough already.
Well, here's what's weird about this too. It doesn't... See, this is why I feel a little different about this one. It doesn't feel like they were trying to be racist, if that makes any sense.
And maybe it was just with the times.
It's what happened at the times, and that's we're so past that, which almost kind of makes it worse in a sense. Like, it wasn't intentional, but again, that just it's a reflection of a time that is so far gone. Meaning, like, if you were going to create a book today and draw a Chinese person, you would not draw them the way that they're drawn in this book. Right?
Yeah, I have to go back and see. Well, I have to go see because my artistry is magnificent.
No, but it's true though. I mean, you just really wouldn't do it. You might do something else, something more to the times, but you wouldn't have
it's very stereotypical Chinese. Like, the point is you're using these books to teach your kids. And if you're teaching your kids that Chinese people wear these hats and robes and walk around in little sandals and eat with chopsticks out of a bowl, then you don't know Chinese people. Chinese people aren't...
Maybe you don't know Chinese people. Because the Chinese people I know do that.
Again, the chopsticks...
Even now.
The chopsticks
there are Chinese
things...
business people that wear suits. There are Chinese people that are athletes. This isn't...
Frank, I'm joking.
I'm just saying.
I'm joking.
All right.
But again, the chopsticks things are just not racially insensitive. That just happens to be a tool that they use. That's a not a tool, a utensil.
Yeah, no. But it's like
we all use them.
Yeah,
I make because I don't know how to.
To color them in yellow and to make them all look like classic from like 1,000 years ago, Chinese,
But
I get
on
it.
the other hand, people can use the like, well, they only drew white people in the book, and they would get offended by that. So here's the thing: if you want to show different cultures, you can't just look at his face. It's like, you're just dumb,
No,
Janine.
just show them. You could show different cultures. Just be accurate about it.
Well, maybe in
If
that sense they were being accurate. I don't know, because I don't really know
yeah, I
that
don't know the
book
story.
exactly.
I don't know how they fit into the
But
story of these
it's just
characters.
people get offended by the dumbest thing.
And
That's
it's
what
not
she
even that.
said.
It's they decided the publishing company said this is not what we're about anymore. We're
Oh.
moving on. This was something that was popular. It was something that they read 100 years ago, and we're moving on from it. It's like
Let's read between the lines too. Let's be honest. This shit wasn't selling, because if it was selling, they would have just updated it. You know what I'm saying? Because this culture was drawn insensitively. That's kind of an easy fix. You send out a new print, and nobody's any of the wiser. You know what I'm saying? You could change that very easily.
Maybe they'll do that.
I wonder.
Who knows?
I don't think so. It sounds to me like this shit wasn't selling. They're like, screw it. It's not even worth it.
All we know is they're not printing these books anymore. So maybe they'll come out with a new version of these books.
Yeah.
Who knows? I mean, obviously Dr. Seuss can't write them anymore, but maybe someone from his company, his estate, can come out with something new.
This goes back to the Confederate statues for me. This is such a fine line between, you shouldn't have anybody living in a place where they got to look at something that, keeps them down or reminds them of a really bad time, or actually it's a little bit different, but same sort of feeling of like, you don't want people living with that all the time, constantly over them,
Yeah.
But then there also has to be this thing where we have such a shitty past, and you don't want to lose that, because again, it's that teachable thing of like,
Yeah, it's teachable. Teach
This
it
is
in a
how-
textbook. Teach it in a museum.
Right.
Teach it, but it doesn't have to be in everybody's face every day. And if I'm a Jewish person, which I'm not, if I'm a Jewish person and there's a statue of
Can I just
of
say
Lenin
something?
or
I think
Stalin
you'd be
or-
a fantastic Jewish person if you ever decided to convert to Judaism.
I appreciate that.
I just think you'd be good at it.
Okay.
Like Passover and all the things. I think you would just
I
be
enjoy the food.
on top of
Yeah,
it.
because he likes performing brisses on people. So
One time, all right? And I'll never live it down.
Let me just say this about my Jewish brethren. That matzah, you guys got something with that. That's gold.
I wish they made them smaller, though. Do they make them like this big? Because you can only get them like this big, like the size of a notebook.
I didn't even
But
think of
I
that.
want them like this big.
Like a matzah cracker size, bite-sized matzah. You can just,
You're right.
right.
oh,
You can put them out at parties and stuff.
that'd be
Put some
something
butter
else.
on them.
That'd be something else.
They're always like the size of an album.
Mike Pence may have lost 2 jobs because of President Trump. 1, the first vice presidency. 2, now they're talking about the fact that Trump is going to definitely run again, and he might not be picking old Penceroo to take that ride with him.
Oh, all of a sudden he's Traitor Pence. Why? Because he didn't kiss Trump's ass. He's Traitor Pence.
He really threw him under the bus that
Unbelievable.
day.
You don't kiss Trump's ass, you're out of the family.
Trump threw him under the bus the day of the Capitol thing, when he was like, "Oh, you didn't do the right thing," and he was really took him to
All
task.
Trump
that day.
supporters were looking to hang him. They were chanting, "Hang Mike Pence."
Supposedly, as the story goes, and this could be fake news, they didn't speak to each other from that day forward. What was there?
Yeah.
Like another 3 weeks or whatever?
I heard that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you want your leader. If you don't get your ass kissed, if you don't get your
Here we
ass
go.
kissed, yeah, here's another eye roll from Ginny. If you don't kiss the leader's ass, you're in bad company. That's it. He doesn't respect you anymore. He doesn't listen to you. That's how we should have our leaders.
That's how you treat your friends, right? So
No, I don't kiss your ass. You're still my friend. I don't kiss his
Just
ass. You're still my friend,
that's obviously Trump's personality.
right? You don't kiss his ass. You're worthless to him.
Does it?
That's the way he sees it.
Do you think it matters if Pence is on the ticket or not?
I think he's not on the ticket. He's definitely not. After
You think it
the way
matters
the
to Trump
presidency
people?
ended.
No,
Say it
No,
again?
it doesn't.
He's probably going to put Ted Cruz on the ticket.
no, my pillow guy. Come
Or
on.
my pillow guy.
You want to know who I think he's going to put on the ticket?
He hates Ted Cruz. Go ahead.
The all-time ass kisser, Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz, you can't. Ted Cruz is kryptonite. He's such a he's a loser. You can't put him on the ticket.
He is a gigantic loser. That's perfect.
Yeah, you can't put him on the ticket. You know who I think he puts on? Swear to God,
Who?
You're gonna make fun of me.
Lindsey Graham.
Don Jr. I think he puts his kid on.
That would be the worst nepotism out the freaking roof. Oh my God, I can't.
Just think of the memes, though. Come on.
Don squared.
I can't.
Double the Don in 2024. Think of the campaign slogans.
The absolute conflict
Don
of
2024.
everything.
Don.
Gigantic. The guy's a walking conflict of interest. That's all he is.
Yeah.
Both
I think if you're Trumpy Trumpkins, if you're a Trumpkin latte and you're sitting there going, how do I give the world more me? What could I do when I come back? I think he's thinking
More me.
forget winning in 2024, because in his mind he's already done it. And he might be right. But I think he's thinking, how do I keep this train rolling? I know. I'll put my son in. He'll do a great job as VP.
Another qualified person.
And he'll run in 2028. So I can still have my little finger on the Diet Coke button in the Oval Office.
Yeah, and everybody's going to say, "Oh, you just hate Trump." But no, I want qualified people.
No,
like
not only do I hate him.
There's rumors about like The Rock running and all these other people, and I would hate that. I love The Rock, but I would hate for him to be a politician. One, because I want to keep liking him, and two, he's not qualified. There should be a test that you have to take. There's a test for everything.
What the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Listen, there should be a test. There's a test for every job that you get as an adult. You have to take a test. You have to go to interviews.
You have to take a test to get your job, Frank?
Yeah, yeah. Well, a lot of high business tests. A lot of businesses have tests that you have to take.
You're out of your mind.
To get that job.
You're out of your gourd.
You test to be a medical doctor, a pilot.
There are 3 requirements to be the president of the United States.
You should have to know.
You have to be older than 35, and you have to be born here. There's a third one, and I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, very good. But you should have to take a test just to know basic political strategy and just basic politics.
Oh, you can't. I don't think you could have lived elsewhere for more than 9 years. I think that's the third thing.
Oh, really?
I think that's it. But my point is, Frank, there is a test.
You have to be qualified.
It's called an election. You that's basically what it is. It's a huge job interview.
You should have to pass a test in order to run.
I disagree.
Well, no, because people cheat all the time.
Yeah.
People cheat on their tests
Well, it should
all the time.
In a neutral environment, you should be watched. It should be, if you're going in to take that test, it should be an official test.
But you know what? If he was smart, he'd pick his daughter as the vice president.
Oh.
Instead of Donald Jr.
I think first
he would pick his daughter.
This way she'll be around more often, and I can hit on her even more.
She is much smarter than Don Jr. We all know he's an idiot.
Yeah, I was going to say, she is a smart person.
She's fantastic. She's just fantastic.
I
hate her.
You hate her?
I think she's the smartest out of all of them. I don't know what that's really saying.
Well, that's not saying much. Well, I knew he was going to say that.
True. Tell me I'm wrong.
By the way, I am on the record like 10 years ago saying The Rock will run for president and he will win. And I also think he would be a fantastic he'd be fantastic. I think he would be a good president.
You smell what the president is cooking?
We don't need any more celebrity presidents.
I fucking hated him when he did that.
That's what got him started.
I think The Rock.
I know, but I wish he wasn't a wrestler.
I think The Rock knows how to. He's a billionaire. Like he's savvy.
Oh, he's the highest paid actor. Like
he's personable. By the way, do you remember he was doing Tooth Fairy for Disney for like $2 million, like for no money. So the guy literally like resurrected his career, found a way to the top in Hollywood, and not just that, in business. Like the guy, he
knows what he's doing as a celebrity.
He's kind of a 5-tool guy, though. I mean, there's no, just because you're a good senator doesn't make you a good president. Just because were a mayor doesn't mean that you're going to be a good president. There is no
That's true.
telling if it's going to make you a good president or not.
If I'm on a plane
That's
and The
true.
Rock is sitting next to me and they said, I want to make you pilot right now, he can't just walk up there and fly the plane. He has to know going in a little bit about how to fly a plane.
But the thing with presidents, though, is that you have such an extensive staff, from your chief of staff to your cabinet
You're not
members
doing everything.
to your
Yeah,
vice
but you
president.
one guy could literally start a war and cause millions of lives if he
Well,
wanted to.
my point is that I would vote for a really good manager or somebody who has a
Right.
really good judge of character over
Well,
a mayor in some cases, because it's going to be the team that you put together and the calls that you make that's going to be the thing to, whether you're successful or not.
If The Rock knows what he's talking about, if he knows what he's doing, if he's smart, which I know he is, but if he's smart politically and his policies are intelligent and he knows what he's talking about, great. He could run for president. But all I'm saying is, you should know. Like, there was a guy, I don't remember his name, but he ran in the past election, but 2016. He was on a talk show, and the host asked him, "What do you think we should do about the situation in Aleppo?" And he went, "What? What is that?" And he's like, "Are you serious?" And he goes, "Yeah, I don't know what that is. I never heard of Aleppo." And he's like, "It's the capital of Syria. What should we do in the capital of Syria?" He goes, "Oh, Syria." He was out from that moment on. That cost him. Nobody voted for that guy. I forget his name, but he was this older guy.
I remember that.
That's my point. My point is, you should know what you're talking. You should know a little bit about the political atmosphere.
I
yeah,
know.
but
I
you
know
went into
where.
business too.
I know where Aleppo
it's a
is.
business too.
I know exactly where it is. It's fantastically located in the Middle East. There you go. See?
Perfect.
Fantastic.
What more do I need to know? But tell me I'm wrong, though. I mean,
You're wrong.
You have to take a test to be a teacher, a doctor,
You're wrong.
a pilot. You should have to take a test to lead the country,
Yeah, you're wrong.
or at least throw your hat in the ring. Then the people will decide if you're qualified.
Incorrect.
Okay, thank you.
My dog died.
You're fired.
You fired, Frank. You fired. Listen.
Yes, this is a terrible, terrible story. Go ahead.
Does it have to be about you all the time? I mean, for Christ's sake.
It's all
can
you.
we-
Wait, hold
Go
on.
for it.
Okay.
Hold on.
Give Anthony the spotlight. Yeah.
My dog died last night. This was very traumatic, actually. This is a tough thing. I didn't think it was going to be as hard.
It's terrible. It is awful.
So Frank's dog died, right? The difference with that was when Frank's dog died, she died, I forget what day it was.
It was December 13th.
Right. December 13th. That was the day I had her in the death pool. So I won a lot of money when she died on that day unexpectedly.
Very good. Yeah,
So
I
it was-
lost a little bit there.
It was very happy. It was a great thing. I couldn't understand why you were so sad about it, because I was like, this is fantastic. Look, $75.
Good for you.
But now that it's happened to me, I'm like, well, maybe this isn't. By the way, did you have yesterday, or was there not a death pool for my dog?
I had this
I
weekend
did.
because I thought it was going to happen this weekend.
I mean, you're a real piece of shit. I was just joking about mine. That sounded
Thank you.
sincere.
Oh, me too.
Why do I come on this show?
Yeah, but little Rocco died. I mean, here's the other thing. Everybody's so nice to Frank. My dog is literally dying, and this piece of shit goes out and gets another dog that looks exactly like my dog, and he's rubbing it in my
I
face
know, right?
every 5
First
minutes.
of all,
with his
I
posts
got
on
my dog a
Facebook.
week and a half ago before you even announced that anything was going on with your dog.
You know Rocco wasn't doing well, son
He wasn't
of a bitch.
doing well, but I didn't know he was a week and a half away from dying.
By the way, Frank's new dog doesn't look exactly like my dog, but it feels like they had
Same
the
breed.
same father.
Same breed.
Because
Definitely was
My dog
I
was
wanna say
inspired
that.
by Rocco.
same breed. It was like they had the same like patchy like black and white and gray fur and everything. Almost looks practically identical. Yeah.
That's little Dexter.
Exactly. It looks exactly like little
And
Rocco.
where's Rocco?
I don't have
You
a
have a
picture
picture
of
of Rocco?
him. I don't have a picture of him.
Of course not. What kind of father are you?
Go on D's Facebook.
You piece of crap.
I'll do that. That's a good idea. Shoot.
I even have a picture of Rocco on my phone.
Yeah, we all have him, except his dad.
Real broken up over there, huh?
Try to get one without your family in it.
Yeah, there he is.
Can't pause these stories on Facebook. There you go. You got one.
Oh, yeah, that's a better one. By the way, look how young and vibrant I was in that picture. Jesus Christ. That's a whole lot of sexiness holding that dog. My wife also doesn't look bad.
Yeah, and then there's you.
Anyway, the vet goes, Rocco's not doing. We knew for a little while Rocco wasn't doing too well.
Poor little Rocco.
And so we were kind of like,
he's a good dog too.
He was a great dog. We were kind of just like keeping him, going, and they gave him some stuff, and we're like, Mom, maybe this will work. And then his like legs were giving out. It was really bad, and so we had to kind of make the decision over the weekend, and it was like, I don't know, we were kind of like in this thing of like, can we get a week? Do we do a week and whatever? I'm so happy we didn't do the week, because when we decided on Sunday, Monday and Tuesday during the day were just like awful. Like it was such a horrible feeling knowing that it was like, all gonna come to an end,
It's not easy. It's a terrible thing. Once you sign on for a pet like that, like a dog or a cat or something, someday down the road it's not going to be easy.
No.
Now we ran out of time because I was going to actually call my father. My father was so against dogs, so against.
Really?
Dogs. Oh my God. And he had a dog and the dog died. And now I totally get it. Like I understand why he feels this way, because it's like,
it's terrible.
You're like, I get it, Dad.
It all leads up to that moment, and it just sucks. But you remember the years that you had with them. You gave them a great life, great family.
Yeah.
He was loved, and that's it. This is their life expectancy. They don't live for 100 years, 80 years, like people. But this is what you sign on for when you get a pet like that.
Now, are you going to clone him? Well,
shit, I didn't think of that.
I know you saved his DNA, so.
We should have probably cloned him.
There you go.
I mean, I saved it.
What did they clone last time?
What did they clone? I forget.
Recently?
A ferret.
Ferret. That's right.
That's right. It was a ferret.
Rocco's not too much different from a ferret.
He kind of acted like a
size.
Yeah. Yeah, he did.
That's close. You could get yourself a Rocco clone.
That would be nice. Yeah, but my wife was devastated. The kids were like, "Oh my God."
Did you cry, fam?
I didn't cry, no, but it really.
You heartless bastard.
You probably never cried a day in your life anyway, so it doesn't matter. Okay.
I'm a man. I don't cry over these things, Tough.
Okay.
I lit a cigar. I had some whiskey, I did man shit.
Did one of these. The Rocco. Hey,
yeah.
Rocco.
Exactly.
Pour a little out.
Well, not the whiskey. You know how expensive whiskey is? What are you, insane?
There you go.
Meanwhile, I'm the one tearing up over here over Rocco. He's just like,
man.
It's a tough one, man. It's
horrible. Let's not act like I'm not caring. So especially like in his latter couple of days, because the drugs they were giving him for the pain and everything, he had to drink a lot, so he was like peeing in the house a bunch. And so my wife, last night we, was when he died. We put him down, and this morning, just to kind of help her out, I peed on the floor in the dining room. Just
that was real.
I thought that was a nice gesture on my part.
That is like a really, really sweet gesture.
So not everybody would think of that, but you're good.
This is what thank you. I appreciate it. Glad you guys.
You got a gift, my friend.
But it's weird though to actually, because when the doctor goes it's time. You almost that was the biggest struggle for me, because it's is it though? Who the fuck are you? How do you know?
Exactly.
How do you know? Right.
The denial. You go through a lot of denial. I did that too.
A lot of denial.
It's there, man. You go get the hell out of here. My dog is stronger than your tests.
Yeah. Especially because Rocco was so beautifully dopey. He was literally Kevin from The Office. He didn't he was so stupid, but it was so sweet, So
yeah, he was a little sweetheart.
Yeah.
Him giving him not being able to walk and whatever, you look at him and you go, this doesn't bother him, but they tell you that he's in pain, and you can't ignore that fact,
Yeah.
So
Don't question yourself, though. You did the right thing for him.
yeah,
Don't doubt yourself. I know you're probably a little bit in there going, was it the right time? I mean,
I'm
they know
definitely doing
too.
that. And you know me, I like to second guess everything.
I know.
Uh,
Doctors know, and Rocco, I'm sure, is grateful. He's not in pain. He's not suffering, and he's with Bridie.
As weird as last night was, though, it was even stranger this morning, like him not being around.
oh, I'm sure.
And the kids handled it okay last night. And then,
Yeah.
like, my son this morning was like, when are we going to pick up Rocco? I said to my wife. And my
Oh,
wife was
no.
like, oh, shit. Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah, it sucks.
That's why I didn't have kids.
Hmm.
I stuck with dogs. I don't have to explain to them anything.
And you do,
I know, that's like the worst part.
when they,
It's terrible.
what do they call those? The 7 stages of grief, and it's
Grief.
like denial and bargaining.
5 stages.
5 state. Yeah. Because I even said to the vet, I go, take my daughter if you want to put her down instead of the dog. Can we do that? Will that help him? And she said, no, that won't help.
Oh.
And I said,
It's worth a shot.
the stuff that you're going to use on him, can I get a little extra of that just to see? And she said,
Just
I'm
to see if it's going to work.
Yeah.
What'll it do to me if I put it in my Cheerio?
Right. I had a lot of questions for her, and she basically looked at me and said, I'm gonna call the police if you continue to talk to me. So I said, okay.
Right. Makes sense.
All right, I'm gonna leave now.
Well, we're very sorry.
Well, it's
And,
not-
we're with you,
listen,
buddy.
It's not all that bad.
Yes,
I
I
did
am
get
too.
a restraining order from the vet, so all things considered,
Keepsake. Put that
Yeah.
in the scrapbook.
I lost a dog, but I got a restraining order, so
There you
It's
go.
nice. It's a nice
Win-win.
little end to the story.
it'll
And
leave.
when
It'll leave. Are you really
Listen.
upset, Janine? You look like you were a little. For a second there, you look like you were getting a little
I
upset.
am, I do not like when animals.
Yeah.
Yes.
Same.
Nope.
So
I am like,
fuck the people of Texas,
Nope.
but poor Rocco.
right.
I tell you,
what?
I was
Eh.
traumatized when I was a kid. My cousins rented the movie. You ever see the movie? And I do not recommend it. Don't go looking for it. It's horrible. Faces of Death.
Oh my God, no.
Is that where they all blow up or people get lit
It's
on fire and that stuff?
It's a documentary
Yeah.
on like animal mistreatment and how they make
Oh, no.
like meat and stuff. It's,
No.
My cousins rented it, and I watched a little bit because I was an idiot, and it's traumatizing.
Oh God, no.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
And I can't. Anytime there's an animal, like I scroll through Facebook and they show these, animals that were like, the story usually ends well. Like they have a home now, but they started out on the street. Anytime I see an animal in distress, I can't handle it.
All right. The show's
Terrible.
over. What are you guys going to
Oh.
do? Frank, are you going to go play with your perfectly healthy, happy dog?
Oh my
might.
God.
I might do that.
You need to post more
He's like,
pictures on
maybe.
Instagram?
I might have to. But while I look up at the ashes of Bridie, I might do that.
Oh. No.
Do you have the ashes of Bridie?
I do have the ashes. Yes,
You know what's so
We have-
funny?
we have her in a little urn.
A little urn. We don't even know. Like, I was like, how does it work? When do we? And my wife was like, I have no idea. She's like, I was too devastated to ask.
Oh.
I was like,
Do you
yeah.
want to know what we did? What happens? You give the dog is with the vet, and if you choose to cremate, I would call them, and it's up to you, obviously, but I would call them and say you want a private cremation, because sometimes it's sad. I don't know if they do this.
No, I want the
Why-
Costco one where they put like 7 in there at a time. And
That's
then just divvy
that's
up
the
the
thing
ashes.
that could
Yeah.
happen.
It doesn't matter.
Um,
It's just dirt at this point, Frank. It's over.
And this is the little urn we
Aw.
have her in.
That's nice.
And just then a couple of weeks, maybe a week and a half goes by, and you pick up the ashes from the vet, and they give it to you in like a tin. It's almost like a cookie tin,
Mm-hmm.
and it's in a bag inside the tin. And then we went on Amazon and bought the urn.
I did the same
Not
thing.
Amazon. No, not Amazon. It was actually like a pet cremation site, like an urn. They make them. They hand make them.
I did the same thing though, because I Googled what do you do with a pet, and then like the first thing that comes up is like Amazon, and there's like 400 animal urns.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Like,
I
what's this?
spent like a week and a half to 2 weeks looking for the right one.
Well, just I want
I
every.
actually.
Go ahead, Janine.
No, go ahead. I was gonna say my cat that I had at my parents' house, when it passed away, we buried it in the backyard because it died at home,
Mm.
and I thought it was gonna come back because I saw that movie Pet Cemetery, but it didn't.
No.
So I'm a little upset.
Yeah. Well, maybe one day. It's still, let's not count it out. How many years ago
Well,
was this?
And at least I don't live there anymore, just my parents. So
True.
That's
this is like
awful.
2008.
Yeah, there's still time. There's
Yeah.
still time.
Okay. Good.
See, I never had any experience with any of this because the only pet I ever had before Rocco was a goldfish. And I said to my wife, let's take Rocco back and flush him down the toilet. Maybe that's the way to go.
It's gonna jam you up pretty
Yeah.
good.
She got really upset with that.
You need a powerful toilet, like an airplane toilet.
Well, I got one. It handles me on a daily basis. So,
Oh.
That's true. Yikes.
yeah.
On that note,
Let's end the show there. All right. Yeah, Frank's
Yeah,
got to go
happy
play
note.
with his perfectly healthy dog. So, it's fine.
Eat me.
It's fine, Frank. I don't want you to feel bad. You know what I have to comfort
do
me?
you think
My
you'll get
grief.
another dog?
I don't know. I don't know. I really can't
All right.
answer that. Like my son
It's a
was
little
like,
early.
my son, we told my son at first, like, oh, Rocco's gonna go up to heaven and be with his mommy and daddy up in heaven, and Papa, my wife's father, he goes, I want a pet. He's like, I want a new pet. Like he just kept saying, and I was like, man, that's so insensitive. But after a while, he kind of was like, I want Rocco. Like he didn't know any other way to kind of like say it.
So the first part was you coming through, then the second part was your sensitive wife coming through.
Sure.
That's how I saw it.
Just replace him.
Basically, I think there's a lot of wisdom there, Frank. I think you really. Maybe you could be a psychiatrist, although I hear that test is a bitch.
I actually thought about that for a while.
Yeah.
Become a psychiatrist.
But podcaster instead. Yeah, that's good too, I guess.
Same thing.
Yeah. Great
Telling me
career
I'm not
move.
helping people with their mental situations.
You're killing my mental state. I got to be honest with you. I think I'd be so much healthier if you weren't on this show.
Either way, I'm affecting you mentally.
Janine would be happier. I know that for sure. I know that for a
What?
fact. She keeps
guys love
texting me, get this liberal loser off the show.
You
I'm
two
not going to say
love
what you
me.
said last time.
Last time? What's happening? You guys talking behind my back.
No, what he said last time.
First
I'm
of
not going
all,
to use the phrase. The phrase.
you have nothing to complain about, Frank, because the audience loves your stock has never been higher with the audience
I know.
than right now.
I love
So-
our audience.
Obviously, we have a lot of liberal
Yeah.
Hey.
viewers.
A lot of
A lot of nice
a lot
people.
of great people out there.
Best
That's all I
audience.
gotta say.
Best
Our
audience
is
we've ever
awesome,
had. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
and we thank you.
All right, let's leave it there. Appreciate you guys watching and or listening, wherever you were watching and or listening from. AnthonyOnAir.com has all our links and information. If we've instilled any pity in you, please go buy a shirt.
Oh, you horrible huckster, you.
Not that I'm exploiting the death of my dog, but we do have a new shirt in the store that says my dog died, and please buy this shirt from me.
Oh,
And on the back it says I bought this shirt from a sad sack who just lost his dog.
no.
See,
It's very sweet. It's very sweet.
that's nice.
So that's at AnthonyOnAir.com. We will catch you guys on the next one. By the time we talk to you, Coming to America 2 will already be out on Amazon. So
Definitely watching that.
watch that on Friday, and we'll probably do a review on that at some point since we could all watch it. We all got the Amazon. You guys will have the
No.
Amazon.
I don't.
Of
but
course, I
I'll,
got everything.
I might have to sign up for Amazon. I have everything
Just
comes out
download it
on Amazon.
illegally.
You gonna pass up Coming to America 2?
I've passed up so much. I don't know. Probably. I'll probably get Amazon. I'll cave and get Amazon.
All right, either
I got everything else.
Either the entire show or 2 out of 3 will do a full-on review at some point in the next week or so. So look out for that. Appreciate you guys, and we'll see you on the next one.
That's just, you know what?
What?
That was just a TikTok.
Janine's gonna go TikTok. We'll see.